everything like it was yesterday. You know what? That's no reason for you to feel bad. You yourself, David, you'll need to learn to laugh at yourself sometimes.
Yes. Yes, you're right. Sometimes, well, I take life way too seriously.
You do. I propose a toast to a David that's a lot more laid back, right? Cheers.
Okay. Cheers.
Take it easy.
I was gonna throw ice at you. Tano! Woo! It's great to see you free, man!
Good to see you, Miguel.
I'm so glad you're back, man.
You too, Leon. You know what? It's great to see you, but I can't say I'm happy.
Hey, how can you say that? You're a free man.
Too free because Susan just dumped me.
She did? Why?
Because she said that when we are together, we only get into trouble. But if that's true, then she never did love me.
Hey, don't be so stupid, Listen, Susan really cares for you.
Yes, we know what a wreck she'd been while you weren't around.
Right.
Well, if that's true, she wouldn't have left me.
Come on. She may just need a little time. Everything that happened was your own fault.
Yes, I know.
Listen, all you need to do now is give her some space.
I'm not sure, Leon. I think we broke up for real this time.
Don't be absurd. Let everything settle down a bit and then you can talk to her.
What is it, Juan?
More undocumented workers are arriving tomorrow night. They're supposed to be here, but the good thing is they're delayed.
More? Okay, where are we going to put them? We have so many of them. We need to find another warehouse to house them.
Stop talking nonsense, Perla.
Oh, Juan, we can't keep them all here, all of them in the same place.
It is what it is.
No, Juan. The poor folks.
Well, that isn't my problem, Perla. In fact, this is where you're going to help me. With the new people coming in, you have to be even more convincing. Tell them right after you arrived here, in just a few days we already got you a job, and that it may not be the best condition, but that the American dream is all about making sacrifices. Is that clear?
Yes, but then I don't think it's right to put so many people in just one place.
I know that, Perla, but if we don't take these new people coming in, it'll mean less money for us. Come on, don't give me that face. I promise I'll think about what to do with them, okay? What I need you to do right now is get Carita under control. We don't want her giving free lunches to everyone.
I already told you it won't happen again, Juan. And anyway, it's actually a good thing that she's working with us, because the poor woman is down in the dumps.
So what happened now?
Well, because Luciana's going to marry Miguel, and Carito, she adores the guy.
Oh, really?
Obviously, she's only doing it for the papers, especially since her tourist visa is expiring soon.
Well, that's too bad. That could cause her all kinds of problems.
Oh, really? Like what?
Listen.
Well, I'm so happy that everything worked out for Tano.
Even though another person showed off putting up the bail money. Well, anyway, whatever it is, Susan and Tano, they're so in love, and they deserve to be happy.
The same with you and Miguel. Listen, honey, I have been thinking a lot about it last night. The truth is, every one of us, we all got carried away with the thrill of the moment and the desire for you to stay here.
But what? What is it, Mother?
I want you to think carefully about getting married. I don't want you to feel pressured to move forward with Miguel. Don't do it for us nor for the papers, my love.
Mother, you know perfectly well that I'm not doing it because of any of that.
Really?
The truth is I like him.
Listen to what you just told me, huh? I like him. You didn't say I love him. A marriage cannot be based on just caring for someone. Before everything else gets more serious, you need to be very clear with what you feel, huh? You have to explain to Miguel what you're feeling, my love.
Oh, Mom, in life things have a way of getting way too complicated. And I'm really thankful that I have you with me.
I know that, my darling. Believe me, it hurts me so much to have to tell you this, but I have to say it. I spoke with Brian, my love, and it doesn't look like we can do a lot using that route either, because he said it will be complicated with all the papers needed and because you were deported when you were still a little girl and all those things. My darling, telling you this really does break my heart, but I don't think it's fair for you to marry Miguel just because it can solve this problem. If you don't love him, it would be better if you didn't marry him. We could just find another way to get out of this problem.
Hey, take it easy, Tano. Leon has a point. At least if you're here, you can do something about That explosive temper of yours, right? Prove it to Susan, man.
I'm just worried that Mark is making her do something in exchange for dropping the charges.
Yeah, right. I don't think anyone can force Susan into anything.
There you go. I'll have to agree with
I
Leon.
just don't know, guys. But how can she just talk to the guy and make him drop those charges?
Listen, no one's coercing her, all right? Susan would have told me so.
Well, in that case, I really don't get it.
Well, obviously, she's making sure that he doesn't go mental on you. You need to understand and appreciate that, bro.
Hey, have you told him yet?
Stop. We're talking about more pressing matters
Oh,
here.
tell him already.
Yeah, man, what's going on?
Well, this may not be the best time to tell you, but I'm marrying Luciana.
Whoa, I'm happy for you, bro. Congratulations, Miguel. That's wonderful news.
Thank you very much, Tano.
I know that you guys really love each other, and that you'll make a great couple.
Brother-in-law.
Speak for yourself, brother-in-law.
Listen, Mom, I'm definitely not planning on getting married anytime soon. And I don't want to be making a decision this big just so I could sort out my legal documents.
The only thing I want to know is that if you're sure it's for that reason and not for another.
No, Mom, it's not that. I just don't feel comfortable with things like that.
Luciana, you know that I'll support any decision you make, right?
Mm-hmm.
So think about what you're gonna do very carefully. Because I wouldn't want you or Miguel to get hurt.
Neither do I, Mother.
Regardless, you'll have to decide quickly because something like this cannot wait long.
I know that, Mother. And that is exactly why I have so many doubts. I don't want you to get the wrong idea. I love being with Miguel. He's really an incredible man, and we've always gotten along. But to marry him just so I can secure an immigrant visa is not exactly what I had in mind.
Have a seat, my love. Listen. I know that after you and Miguel get married, it won't be long till you're eligible for a green card. But the important thing is that you're happy together.
Right. But that doesn't help with what I want or how I feel.
And there it is. Then why did you say yes to Miguel?
Oh, well, maybe I felt pressured at that time when he decided to ask me in front of everyone. On top of that, it sounded like a good idea.
That's what I thought. Which is why I asked Brian to help you in any way he can, to be able to negotiate a working visa for you.
And I'm really grateful for that, Mom. And I do hope I get to meet Brian soon.
Until that day comes, sweetie, what's important is that you finally decide what it is your heart really wants. You don't need to do it for me or for anyone else. You have to do it for yourself.
Beat sensitivity pain fast with Sensodyne Rapid Action for clinically proven relief in 60 seconds.
Je, maumivu ya kichwa na kukosesha amani? Kaluma Strong hutuliza maumivu ya kichwa, maumivu ya mwili na hata huondoa joto jingi mwilini. Kaluma Strong ina aspirin kama kiungo. Maumivu yakizidi, muone daktari.
Babangu anafanya kazi ya watchman na mamangu kwa saizi ana kazi. Kwa mimi na sisters zangu wawili, Faith na Mercy. Nilikuwa class 7 na mimi nilikuanga top 3 kwa hiyo class. Sasa mimi nilikuwa nasikia tunaambiwa ati wewe uta-apply next to fly. Sasa sikuwa najua ni nini. The organization ya through Equity, Mastercard na KFW inasaidia the vulnerable people in the society waweze kupata education na waweze kupata mentoring. After 1 week hivi hao wanafunzi wengi wenye waliapply, si ndio tumechaguliwa kupata hiyo scholarship. Kajua mimi ni student wa hasa wa Chavakali Boys High School. Miezi 2 zikapita, nikaanza kusikia rumors ati kuna corona. Principal akatuambia tunafaa turudi nyumbani. Equity walipigia babangu simu kuchukua kit fulani. Akapewa hiyo torch, solar, radio na hiyo timetable. Tulisikia vizuri sana juu ilikuwa inaweza hata kusaidia masita zangu wote. Juu pia kulikuwa na lessons za klasi yao hapo. Wakatuelezea watakuwa wanatuma stipend kununua chakula, sanitizers. Juu hatukuwa na kitu completely. Kuwa na hope, kumbe kuna watu wanatujali. Hata kama tuko nyumbani, sasa tunasoma basi.
Please eat your breakfast.
Look, Ma, he lost his cape.
Not all superheroes wear capes. There are heroes all around us, like the ones that bring nutrition to millions of us every day.
Wow, am I a hero too?
Yes, you do. And your dad. He goes to the farm every day to make sure his grain is of high quality.
Superheroes have their own sidekick. Does Dad have his own sidekick?
Yes, they are his partners. They take the grain and produce this nutri that you love so much. Then it gets to the local supermarket and we buy it from there. Nutri makes us stronger and healthier.
Strong like a superhero.
Yes, son. But do you know why your dad and his sidekicks are superheroes?
Because they make Nutri.
Every spoonful of Nutri comes loaded with the necessary vitamins, protein and minerals for you and your family to become healthier and stronger. Pick up a pack today from your nearest store. Nutri. Every spoonful counts.
Istiqbal is now in Kenya. We are the voice for quality, colorful, innovative, and functional home furniture with presence in 92 countries worldwide. We have it all. Sofas, beds, dining, and mattresses. Celebrate our end-year sale of 50% off. Yes, everything at half price from 2nd November to 31st December. Visit our showroom at Panasar Center, Mombasa Road, opposite Airtel.
Good.
Do you own land or property in Nairobi? Hurry and clear your outstanding land rates. We have extended the 100% waiver on land rates up to 15th November 2020. So, collect your invoice from our cash office at Times Tower Banking Hall or City Hall and Makadara offices and pay each day only through the Nairobi County Revenue Collection accounts at Cooperative Bank of Kenya. You stand to gain 100% from the 100% waiver extension. At the end of the waiver period, KRA will institute enforcement measures. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to Good Life, where we are all about you. We know that health isn't just about getting rid of aches and pains when you are under the weather. It's more than just prescription refills and medication. It's all about going the extra mile for you. Whether it's our expert advice on skincare or nutrition, perhaps a quick lab test, an on-call doctor, or even basic vital checks like BMI, blood pressure, or blood sugar, we got you. You can also order from our website and enjoy delivery services. Walk into any of our 67 branches across Kenya today and start living the good life. Good life. We are all about you.
Nivea Men Deep Antiperspirant with the power of black carbon formula. 48-hour protection from sweat and bacteria. For a deep, clean feeling that lasts. New Nivea Men Deep Antiperspirant. Nivea Men. It starts with you. Official sponsor of Real Madrid.
This is NTV.
In about 17 hours, President Uhuru Kenyatta is set to give his State of the Nation address in Parliament in what will be the first of its kind in light of this happening in the midst of a pandemic. The report card that he is to issue tomorrow is a much awaited one in light of the failed tests on the part of the government and the populace at large, as well as those that have had fair performance. While the country has a fairly good picture of the state of affairs, Wanjiku looks to hear the way forward from the head of state. And we will be delving into some of the aspects that are key to the state of the nation on team coverage tonight. We have Kennedy Mureithi right here in studio with me in Nairobi. Melita Oletenges is in Nyeri, and Oko Okusa is in the lakeside county of Kisumu. Team coverage coming up later in this broadcast. First, let's have a look at the day's highlights.
Tonight, COVID-19's grim tally as another 26 succumb. And rounding up the lawbreakers. It's a roundup of what's in the country's arsenal in the war against COVID-19.
We have to work with the worst case scenario and say to ourselves, yes, we are hearing there is a vaccine. Yeah, as you know, yesterday Pfizer said there's a vaccine, but I really personally, to tell you the truth, I've got my many doubts.
Also tonight, KEMSA's personal profiting equipment lying idle in a warehouse. Health CS now wants the PPE disposed of, and it's going to cost you, the taxpayer, 2 billion shillings.
There is nothing to say that they should not sell now and take a hit of 40% or 50% rather than wait for next year and take a hit of 90%.
Plus, graft, divisive politics, misleadership.
We as leaders this time round have no option but to give our all.
Don't have personal protective equipment.
And the pains and positives of the pandemic.
We estimate that over 300,000 people have lost their jobs.
I am jobless.
It's a taste of the state of the nation on team coverage tonight. And also tonight,
this tree will be preserved. That whatever development that is going to happen here will not touch this tree.
NTV Tonight with Smriti Vidyarthi.
And David Agondoa joins us in sign language interpretation. Let's begin with a pulse check of the country's COVID-19 situation. And the number of COVID-19 deaths is rapidly rising. 26 more people succumbed to the virus to mark the highest number of deaths since the country reported the first case. This now brings the death toll up to 1,180. The total number of infections is now up to 65,804 after 1,216 more people tested positive in the last 24 hours. The new 1,216 cases are from a sample size of 6,816. 726 are male and 490 are female. On a positive note, though, 531 patients have been discharged from hospital to bring the total number of recoveries up to 43,626. Nairobi, though, still has the highest number of infections with 439, followed by Mombasa with 250 and Kilifi with 63. Now, the taxpayer is set to lose more than 2 billion shillings following a decision by the Ministry of Health to dispose of the expensive personal protective equipment that has been sitting idle at the KEMSA warehouses. This is after counties and other entities refused to buy it as it was too expensive. Health CS Mutahi Kagwe says the decision to sell it at a loss was better than letting them rot in the warehouses. Bridget Ngana has the latest on the heavy cost of the corruption at KEMSA.
In a month's time, the more than 6 billion worth of masks and other COVID-19 personal protective equipment will be cleared off the shelves at KEMSA warehouses. And despite the Auditor General flagging the sale of these products at the current market price as a loss, Health CS told the Parliamentary Committee on Public Investments that it is a necessary evil.
There is nothing to say that they should not sell now and take a hit of 40% or 50% rather than wait for next year and take a hit of 90%. Every single business is going to take a hit, whether we like it or not. The Kenya government is going to take a hit.
The goods were purchased between the months of March and April at the height of the coronavirus infections in the country at twice the market price then, and have been sitting idle in the warehouses after the counties and other bodies declined to buy them as they were costly. And now KEMSA, which is currently under investigations by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, says it only recouped 1 billion shillings from the more than 7 billion it incurred in expenses.
You indicated to KEMSA that they should stop hoarding the PPEs that they purchase at exorbitant prices and to allow countries to draw them down with their accounts or actually sell. But my concern is who now takes the responsibility? Because the market price for the PPEs, the mask, is now very low compared to what KEMSA bought them at.
I have no choice but to tell Parliament, as I am doing, in advance of the decision. I have to write a CAB memo and explain to the government that yes, there will be a loss at KEMSA regarding PPEs, and then they trade themselves like other organizations are doing. They trade themselves out of it.
At the same time, KEMSA board chair Kembi Gitura, while appearing before the same parliamentary committee, defended KEMSA board's involvement in the scandal and blamed the Ministry of Health for dictating where the COVID-19 equipment would be bought and by whom.
We did not, as an authority, we did not get any donations given to KEMSA. No, these are donations to the national government. Because one of our duties is to procure, warehouse and distribute. These are gifts and donations to the national government.
The medical supplies body is also currently battling a shattered public image, especially on how it has handled COVID-19 procurements. According to the Ministry of Health, the drop in PPE and mask prices is due to the increased local capacity to produce them. Bridget, Ghana, NTV.
Meanwhile, the country could be drowning in the second wave of infections as the daily infection rate sways from between 15 to 20%. What's even more worrying is the cost of financing the expensive COVID-19 treatment. Health CS Mutahi Kagwe told Parliament that it's hard for the NHIF to cover the cost of COVID-19 tests and treatment, owing to the huge cost implications for the national insurer. Here now is NTV's Leila Mohammed with the grim diagnosis.
The country seems to be riding a deadlier second wave, with the positivity rate swaying between 16 to 18%, putting pressure on the country's healthcare system. The Ministry of Health, however, says it's not yet time to hit the panic button. But with news of a COVID-19 vaccine in the works, Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe says he has little faith in the vaccine's efficacy.
We have to work with a worst case scenario and say to ourselves, yes, we are hearing there's a vaccine. Yeah, as you know, yesterday Pfizer said there's a vaccine, but I really personally, to tell you the truth, I've got my many doubts about it because we're talking about a disease that stops people from getting the virus. Now, I would like to know how they knew in the first place that I was going to get the virus.
With the national infections tally having crossed the 60,000 mark, Kagwe says the country is already feeling the sting of financing treatment.
All these hospitals. Then would go to NHIF and then NHIF would be able to pay for them. But it's completely unpredictable. We have no idea how many patients we are going to have tomorrow. We don't know. And therefore, even in the counties, we have basically handled it more or less on case by case basis.
NHIF on its part says the burden of financing COVID-19 treatment and testing for NHIF beneficiaries, both in the national and enhanced medical schemes, would not be financially viable since it was not envisaged in the current NHIF premium computations and the existing benefits package. NHIF also says it would also not have a financial obligation under globally recognized best practices or its present model of operation to finance the testing or hospitalization related to this or any other pandemic or epidemic.
Even when we have patients opting to go to private facilities, then the costs there we might not be able to control. And that is why even in our modeling, we cannot be able to cover.
The Ministry of Health says it has helped shoulder the financial burden for Kenyans seeking treatment in public hospitals.
We have already asked the NHIF to come with the limitations of how much we are going to tell the hospitals to charge right now as we speak.
Leila Mohammed, NTV.
All right, and in a statement from the Ministry of Health, the Cabinet Secretary has said that his attention has been drawn to that short video clip from an internal board discussion about vaccines, in which I appear to be skeptical about the efficacy of vaccines and how they work. Well, the Cabinet Secretary says that the clip has been taken out of context as it was specifically directed at reports of Pfizer developing a vaccine that is reported to be 90 to 95% effective. And he said that it is his assertion that in the absence of certainty and in response to the doubts that have been publicly cast by global experts, we will not commit Kenyan taxpayers' money to pre-order vaccine candidates which are yet to undergo the requisite global and local regulatory evaluations and approvals to support their efficacy and effectiveness. We should instead wait for globally and scientifically approved and acceptable vaccines. We are on the side of caution, and the statement does continue. It is rather long for me to keep reading out here, but we will delve deeper into that. But that is the response from the Cabinet Secretary and what he said about the latest vaccinations that have come out, or that will be coming out later this year, perhaps. Elsewhere, hundreds found themselves in trouble in Murang'a for flouting COVID-19 rules as authorities continue to crack down on the offenders. This comes as the Pubs, Entertainment and Restaurants Association of Kenya accused law enforcement of acting outside the law by destroying property in the name of enforcing COVID-19 regulations. Naoma Sampao has more.
In the recent days, there's been a rising number of Kenyans stretching both their comfort levels and the rules as they lay claim to aspects of their lives that they haven't known since the country reported the first case. In Murang'a, the police cells were not big enough to accommodate the rule breakers. They were all rounded up and taken to the Ehura Stadium to reckon with their fate.
Tumeona imekuwa watu si watiifu. Kwa muda mrefu watu wanaendelea kupuuza mambo ya kuvaa barakoa, wengine wamepuuza mambo ya magari kubeba abiria, wanaendelea wakijisahau.
260 suspects have so far been arrested in the past 3 days for violating COVID-19 rules, from not wearing masks to being found outside during curfew hours to bars and restaurants operating outside the legal hours. The list of offenders also include public transport operators. In the meantime, the Pubs, Entertainment and Restaurants Association of Kenya has accused police of settling scores in the name of enforcing rules.
We have also painfully witnessed the destruction of property and investments by some police officers, in some cases long before the designated closing time.
We have some of our staff members who are still in hospitals, and some who have not yet reported to work due to the brutality that was meted upon them by the police officers.
They also accuse police of not only destroying property but stealing from the establishments they raid. They want the Inspector General to take action against rogue officers. Naoma Sampao, NTV.
Well, the National Assembly's Health Committee is now raising doubt as to the level of preparedness by the Health and Education Ministries prior to the reopening of schools. Several schools have reported cases of COVID-19 infections among students and teachers, but the government says schools will remain open. Helen Aura has more.
With an increase in COVID-19 infections witnessed in schools, the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education have been put on the spotlight over not being well prepared. The two ministries, on the other hand, say that the students are safer within the regulated environment.
Many schools are not prepared, including the parents. They were not prepared in opening school. What was the criteria that you used to arrive at the decision of opening schools? Again, don't you feel that you are so unfair to the parents now that you gave parents only 2 weeks?
The government has argued that students are safer in schools and learning will not be halted as new measures to check the spread are implemented.
We had quite some challenge at Polanya Boys in Busia, and the Ministry of Health worked with us and made sure that that particular school was enclosed as an isolation center so that we don't allow the children to go home and take home the disease. We also had a huge challenge at Bahati Girls in Nakuru, and the same was done.
If it comes to the school issue, instead of saying that if we have got cases in a school in Mombasa or a school in Mukurweini, we don't say close all the schools. You surgically look at what is happening in different places and act in accordance with the position on the ground.
Availability of masks have also been a challenge for many schools. The government is working on a plan to supply reusable masks to less privileged students.
We shall need almost 30 million masks, and on average we shall require around 1 billion shillings in every 3 months.
The Ministry of Health intends to train at least 2 healthcare workers for each school. Speaking in Machakos County, Education CS George Magoha says that the government is still keen to ensure students resume learning next year after being out of school for almost a year. The government is also spending a whopping 8.5 billion shillings for improving infrastructure in public, primary and secondary schools in 30 counties. Helen Aura, NTV.
All right, from that, we shift focus to our team coverage. And who makes up part of the team once again? It is NTV's senior political affairs reporter, Kennedy Mureithi. He joins me right here in studio at the Nation Centre. Also, we have Oko Okusa. He is in the lakeside city of Kisumu. And Melita Oletenges joins us live from Nyeri. All right, well, let's set the tone for the State of the Nation address ahead of, or rather, for the State of the Nation ahead of the President's address before the 2 Houses of Parliament tomorrow. The nation is in the midst of a difficult situation where its governance arms and structures have holes poked into their integrity. The divisions are diverse. From inside the presidency, the arms of government are at odds. The leadership speaks one thing and does another. Olive Burrows opens our team coverage tonight with a look at the country's leadership and misleadership.
Every 5 years in Kenya, government enters into a contract with the people. And every year, the executive arm of government is required by law to report back to the people. And true to nature, the political landscape looks vastly different than it did in 2017, when the people of Kenya extended the term of President Uhuru Kenyatta.
You have the deputy president outside, and then we have co-opted people who you can say, if you want to get serious, that they were injected by the voters, but that undermines the faith in the electoral process.
One section of the executive has legitimacy, but there is this other informal section which doesn't have legitimacy. So in the end, you have a lot of confusion.
And governance too is in quite a state.
At this moment, the state of governance appears a little bit chaotic.
We are in a total mess with regard to governance, because there is no accountability, there is corruption, and the government looks completely disabled in that regard. So generally you can say that there is a major mess, and we need to think about that very seriously.
A mess, the experts say, that starts from the top.
For example, the president issued an executive order number 2 of 2018, where he ordered all government organizations to post tenders on the government page website. That was ignored, no consequences. He gave 21 days to the investigative agencies to give him a report on the COVID billions which were stolen. Up to now, it's probably 3 or 4 months.
Checks and balances are the foundation of any good democracy. How then do the people's representatives measure up?
The legislatures we used to have in the mold of Martha Karua, in the style of Mashengu wa Mwashovi, Koigi wa Mwere, those are no longer there. We don't have patriot now. Now we have stomach-driven Kenyans. They have not been able to hold the executive to account on anything, even in the most of the transparent transgressions.
And this could spell danger.
A real crazy person willing to do really bad things with all these people in his pocket, the way Trump has put Republicans in his pocket in America, then you're in trouble.
Get into parliament, control the judiciary. Who will control the executive? If he turns out to be Hitler, what are we going to do?
And now the experts warn the last bastion is under siege.
The judiciary sometimes makes decisions and gives orders that don't sit well with the executive. The executive gets annoyed, and you can see even in the BPI report that we are just seeing, the executive wants to take over the judiciary.
The state of judiciary, if you ask me, that's the only institution right now, which is actually, I can say, is independent. There is an attempt to undermine it by disobeying the orders that it issues. We have this idea that the laws actually are supposed to serve us, not the other way around.
Now, with the people having thrust upon them another constitutional movement, the experts advise sobriety.
And I cannot believe that actually Raila would right now be proposing control of the police by the executive because of what he has gone through. Okay? I wouldn't imagine that Raila would want to undermine the independence of IEBC, given its experience. So this tells us something about Kenyans, that we will hate corruption because we are not at the table of corruption.
And one of the issues that has led to what Olive has just described is the political turmoil. President Uhuru Kenyatta is being called upon to speak on the state of politics in the country as it becomes polarizing with each passing day. Kennedy.
Well, that is very much so, Smriti. You see, the original idea of the Building Bridges initiative was to bring the country together, but it has now turned into a contest of political supremacy that is between his handshake partner Raila Odinga and his deputy William Ruto. So, will the president speak to this question, or is he among those polarizing the country? These are some of the questions coming up as the president readies for the State of the Nation address this Thursday. The stage is set for a bruising political battle as those who have shown interest in the 2022 duel flex muscles as they try to win over support. So busy have the politicians been that they have retreated to what they know best, playing the divisive card.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
The Building Bridges Initiative report was supposed to be the glue that knits the country together, but its role is now the exact opposite. President Uhuru Kenyatta has touted the report as the panacea to what has ailed the country since independence.
This winner-take-all mentality, that everything in Kenya is about one seat, and if I don't get it, I will not get my right.
However, its release has created acrimony that has left Deputy President William Ruto and ODM leader Raila Odinga on opposing sides.
Priority ni kuunda nafasi 3-4 ya viongozi ama ni kuunda nafasi milioni 3 kazi ya mwananchi mdogo.
You didn't drop from heaven like an angel. You've been around. Is it the first time you have never discovered that there are watu wa mkutukuteni? And the issue of haves and have-nots. If you are really concerned, why are you giving them wheelbarrows? Why don't you give them your helicopter?
Supporters of the two have gone into an overdrive in an effort to outdo each other, dividing the country in the process. The BBI is seen to carry the aspirations of President Kenyatta and Odinga, while DP Ruto has been considered an outsider.
I want to be persuaded, and forgive me if I am slow. Forgive me. There are so many Kenyans who are in my category.
Even if your brother
Ruto does not want to come to the fold, go seek him. If he's prodigal, go seek him and tell him that Kenyans want a constitution which is negotiated, which will help all of us.
Na ndipo namshukuru hata sasa upande yetu ya Jubilee, namshukuru kwa sababu tulisonga pamoja hapa katikati, ndio sasa 2022 ikaanza kuwa inapita. Akasahau yale mengine, na ndio wanasema watu tutulize ball, hiyo bado itakuja.
Ikiwa kama bwana na bibi hawezi kuishi pamoja, kitu gani? Waislamu husema tuoane kwa furaha, tuachane kwa furaha. Ikiwa kama ni talaka mara tatu, sio?
Politicians have been accused of sowing seeds of discord amongst Kenyans, yet they are the problem.
It is important for the political class to sort themselves out here and go to the Mwananchi as a united front, because the Mwananchi usually has faith in all the leaders they elect.
Conversation has now shifted to the BBI not being open to more discussion, yet there are those who feel there is much that has not been captured, thus alienating many. Evangelical churches have now taken a stand. Either there is room for more discussions or they reject the proposals.
When the BBI team task force started off, we presented our desires and our memorandum to them. Up to and including now, what we can say is the church has been ignored.
When you say this document has been closed and it cannot be opened, what are you trying to tell Kenyans? We believe in the principle of collective decision making.
BBI does not belong to an individual.
Well, Smith, it will be very interesting to know that Kenyans actually believe that the people who are mostly divided are the politicians and not them. And if politicians are able to sort out their problems, then it will be very interesting. But some of these political issues are also tied at the hip with corruption, which continues to forge itself as part of the country's identity. Seth Olale looks at the state of graft, the fight against it, and the existing fight for it.
The 7.8 billion shillings COVID-19 millionaire scandal at the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority is a grim reminder of how corruption continues to be a thorn in the flesh. Nearly a month since the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission concluded updated investigations that recommended, among other things, the prosecution of at least 6 state officers, this is yet to happen. The Ministry of Health is also yet to put out the online system highlighting how the tendering process was done as directed by the head of state 2.5 months ago.
The relevant agencies should expedite their ongoing investigations and conclude the same within 21 days.
It came to the attention of the public that there was something wrong going on in KEMSA, and 9 billion was saved.
And before you can go to court, you must have enough evidence to prosecute. We are not saying that there is no evidence. We are saying that the threshold has not been reached.
People will be prosecuted arising from what has happened at KEMSA. That is very, very, very critical.
A report by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions reveals the extent of financial dishonesty in government agencies. For the financial years 2017-2018, 2018-2019, and 2019-2020, there are 53 cases implicating top government officials involving more than 224 billion shillings in public finances. Among those in court are 7 cabinet and permanent secretaries, 11 governors and senior county officials, 22 directors and CEOs, and 7 members of parliament. To this end, the anti-corruption watchdog says it has successfully convicted 153 entities out of the 255 cases. 9 sitting governors are amongst those charged in court. But as investigations and prosecution drag on, the Council of Governors wants immunity from arrest for county bosses.
We propose the removal of collective criminal
responsibility in management of resources at the county government level to align with the principle of personal criminal culpability.
If a governor is personally liable, they should answer for it. But if, like your officer is responsible for something, that officer should answer for it. We are not saying that governors should not answer for things that they do which are illegal. But then you can't punish a governor for a mistake of somebody. Otherwise, you would say you want to punish the president when a minister does wrong.
Then there is the judiciary angle, the executive delivering the burden of responsibility for no convictions to the third arm.
If you don't bring a strong case and the evidence is tampered with at the stage of investigation, the courts will throw away those cases.
As President Uhuru Kenyatta addresses the nation on Thursday, the evergreen question of just how to slay the corruption dragon will likely come up once again. Somehow, a hard nut to crack for a country with no shortage of anti-corruption laws and institutions.
Well, Smriti, it's very interesting. I was in Naivasha when governors were making that statement, and actually everybody was shocked when they wanted to be left off the hook, and they just want that person who puts on the signature to be the one to be collected and taken to court. But hey, many look to that day that corruption will be a thing of the past. But for now, it's aluta continua. Smith?
Yeah, well, we all hope for the time when that day breaks. Well, for now, we right here take a break on NTV Tonight, and we'll be back in a moment with more on team coverage. Do stay with us.
Get fresh, gotta get fresh.
Down is a boom boom pow, down is boom boom pow. Smell fire na uchafuzi na zibita improve down it. Protect nguo zangu na nukia niko safi. Lazima niwe fresh na down is boom boom pow. Boom boom pow, down is new boom boom pow. Smell zote na zi boom boom pow. Powerful freshness, down is boom boom pow. Nani 15 bob too?
Honestly, babe, what is chai bila maziwa?
I know, darling. Like this lactose-free milk. Is it even real milk?
Why don't you ask the expert? Me! Gold Crown lactose-free milk is 100% natural cow's milk. The only difference is that the lactose in the milk has already been broken down, making it easier to digest. So no more funny feelings in the tummy.
Wow, and it tastes just like regular milk.
Because it is, and you've heard it from the cow's mouth.
What a relief. Thank you, Gold Crown.
If regular milk makes you feel uncomfortable, try Gold Crown lactose-free milk. Milk that loves you.
For a better tomorrow, don't forget to do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate every night.
Wakenya, hii fight hatukuchagua, lakini tuko na choice. Tuchague kujilinda. Tuchague kuprotect familia zetu. Tuchague usafi. Kuosha mikono. Kuosha manyumba zetu. Ndio tulinde watoto wetu. Na tuvae mask. Future yetu iko mikononi mwetu. Kenya, let's do it for the ones we love.
Naishi Kawangara stage 2. Nilikuwa nasomea primary school, ilikuwa inaitwa Emmanuel Glory Academy. Sikuwa naona kama naweza join high school, but my teachers waliniambia kama kwenye hamujiwezi kujoin high school, sasa mkiwork hard class tutawasaidia kujoin program ya Wings to Fly. I worked hard and I got scholarship. I was able to be among the chosen few. Form 2 tumeingia hivi, term ya kwanza walilipia. Sasa kukatokea na hii pandemic ya coronavirus, wakatuambia tukuje home. Mtu kama mimi sasa nilianza kushtuka, sasa nikasema nitasoma aje sasa. Wings to Fly program ikaleta hizi radio na solar zitusaidie kuniwezesha kuendelea kusoma hata kama ni usiku. Equity wao wanatupatia pesa kidogo ya mahitaji hapa nyumbani. Saa zingine nakanga tu chini naambia Mungu asante kwa kunisaidia nilijoin hii program. Najua naweza achieve dream yangu siku moja to become a lawyer. But kasi wings to fly, singeweza kufika hapa hata penye nipo.
Kiswahili for form 2 coming up right now.
Kenya Medical Training College will hold its 88th graduation ceremony on December 3rd, 2020, virtually at KMTC Graduation Square, Nairobi from 10 a.m. Graduates must pay a graduation fee of 2,500 to National Bank. A donning graduation gown will be optional, and graduates wishing to get one can visit KMTC headquarters in Nairobi from November 4, 2020 to November 20th, 2020. We invite you to join the live event on Facebook at KMTC Official and YouTube at KMTC Official. KMTC, training for better health.
Like every mother, I'm worried about dangerous insects, especially mosquitoes, which spread diseases like malaria to my loved ones. This year, I'm not afraid. I'm using Mortein Doom. Mortein Doom All Insect Killer provides protection in seconds. Not even a single mosquito is spared, because even one mosquito bite can cause malaria. Mortein Doom provides protection in seconds.
Athena, listen to me. I am not...
You didn't care if you've hurt Renata, who's been more than a daughter to you, to give Matias a position that he doesn't deserve.
I have no idea who your informant is, but it's obvious that he hasn't been feeding you the whole story.
Then you could be in serious trouble.
Oh my goodness.
Do you know them?
Get your value-added plots today by cash or through our installment plan. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
Optiven Limited, the pacesetters in real estate.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Now, one of the things that continues to show itself as a pot of massive potential is devolution. It has brought services closer to the people, but is that really all there is? Melita Oletenges, to you.
Well, Smriti, there have been challenges that slow down development in the devolved units, challenges that threaten to water down or even undo the great value envisioned in the Constitution.
Devolution has been an evolving system in Kenya, seeking to bring services closer to wananchi. Healthcare is one of the devolved services, but is still dogged by health workers' strikes, under-equipped hospitals, and more so now in the time of the COVID-19 pandemic, when they are key in implementing the Universal Health Coverage Plan.
We've struggled with the UHC from March up to this particular time, when we realized if we need to continue offering quality services to our people, we are not able to operate a free, no payment medical scheme.
And actually, it's the poor people who go to the public hospitals. So when we pump in money into health, we are actually assisting the bigger population that has no resources. So are we pumping enough money into health sector?
7 years into devolution, county governors are in some quarters still perceived as, quote, small gods, abusing the powers they have, with some senators alleging that the county CEOs are the faces of devolved grafts.
Madam Speaker, it is gangsters who do not want to account for anything. It is gangsters who believe in impunity, and it's gangsters who preach violation of law and violation of human rights.
The governors are chief executives of the county. They're supposed to be in charge of the management of the money. So why should the DCI be the one to come and detect corruption in your government when you as a governor, you've not been able to detect it before the DCI comes or before the EACC comes?
Governors have, however, defended themselves as they highlight some of the measures needed to make the devolved governments work better.
We propose the removal of collective criminal responsibility in management of resources at the county government level to align with the principle of personal criminal culpability.
Infighting between governors and their deputies has been pointed out as a hindrance to development in the counties. In cases such as Nyeri and Kisii, the divide has played out in the public eye.
If you think you can make a better governor than me, why don't you wait for the elections and come and compete? And we can solve that without even involving the constitution. Have pre-election agreements, and they're allowed.
Some counties are in a leadership fix as their governors are facing corruption cases in court. These include Samburu, Busia, Garissa. In Nairobi, the president stepped into the Mike Sonko situation and brought in the Nairobi Metropolitan Services.
That's devolution for you. But much as the pandemic has stretched the healthcare system, it's not all bad news. Right, Okusa?
You're right, Tenges. The pandemic has put the nation in a state of enjoying gains that were not foreseen and pushed many out of their comfort zones.
Stanley
Otieno, who goes by the stage name Apesi Mnyama Mkali, is a Kisumu-based artist. And he is one of the people who have flipped the COVID-19 damages into advantages. He has a new song to sing.
I came to learn that I can sell my music digitally. Digital platforms like YouTube, iTunes, Boomplay, and still naweza get do yangu.
And he was also stretched beyond music.
Me personally, ilinifungua macho, ikaniambia manze, naweza fanya nini apart from music. I came up with a business called Appreciate Spot, where na sell smoky, chips, juice, pilao.
The art of saving is another lesson Apesi Mnyama Mkali says he picked as a result of the pandemic.
Me opening my shop ilikuwa because of saving. The shows that I used to do, donapata naweka, donapata naweka.
And more lemonade was being made in Seme sub-county on the outskirts of Kisumu town. A group of teen mothers supported by a local community-based organization called Pamoja, like many other organizations, has ventured into a space that never existed before the pandemic struck.
We have engaged our program beneficiaries, particularly the adolescent girls and young women whom we have trained in economic empowerment, to engage in making of face masks for essential service providers.
The COVID-19 pandemic forced the government to reallocate funds from other sectors towards healthcare. This, in addition to the donations in funds and kind, injected a dose of relief to the ailing health sector. The norm has shifted. Many farms have undergone a change in culture, such as working remotely. On the home hand, many have testified to having more family time. The saying goes, adapt or die. In this context, many have steered clear of death.
Well, those are among the silver linings that the country has to show amid a global tragedy. Smriti?
Indeed, Okusa, thanks very much for that, and to the rest of the team who shed light on the key issues. Remember, we will be covering the State of the Nation address tomorrow by President Uhuru Kenyatta. You can catch it right here live on NTV, so do be sure to tune in. From a morning, NTV Sasa will be covering issues surrounding it, followed by the 1 o'clock news and then some analysis. At this point, we're breaking for a few minutes on NTV Tonight. But do stay with us and enjoy this moment of calm. It is spectacular images of the Grand Canyon from the south rim of the National Park in the United States.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja,
Tulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Miaka 20 safari anza ya kutuunganisha kama Wakenya. Twende tukiuke, twende tukiuke. Let's go beyond, let's go beyond. Let's go beyond. Mimi na wewe tukikundi, kazi kujivunia. Let's go beyond, let's go beyond. Kwa juhudi na tumaini, twaelekea kesho pamoja. Twende tukiuke, twende tukiuke. Safaricom.
Cocoa, Kenya's highest saving, longest lasting and biggest Jiko, cooks fast using half the charcoal compared to other Jikos, so you use less fuel and receive extra savings. Enjoy our great discounts and save an extra 500 Kenya shillings when you buy Jiko Cocoa at your nearest shopping outlet.
Answer's here.
Wow, what a nice gift. I would definitely give this next time.
Cousins Baby Gift Pack, a carefully selected range of safe baby products with natural goodness, trusted for decades by millions of moms across Africa. Cousins Baby, the gift that keeps on giving.
Go Ahead is believing to make each day a brighter day. It is showing everyone that we can all be heroes. Going ahead is our courage to do something new. It's those small acts that go a long way. It means growing our own. It is making the most of what we have. It is supporting each other where we can. To go ahead. Now, that is the Kenyan spirit.
Kira! Kira? Where are you? Malaria!
That's why you need the superior protection of Mortein 360-degree reach. Only this has 11 fans which enable it to reach the farthest corners. Mortein, total indoor protection.
Fun and food go together beautifully at GMC Place. Enjoy our succulent meals in a serene setting with a varied choice of fun games for the little ones. Cup it up with a cuppa or a cocktail, all available to your taste. Discover the joy of a warm pool by diving into the Blue Oasis heated pool. Or at GMC Place, the fun never ends. Make your reservation today on 0701 560 560.
We all are looking for products to protect ourselves from viruses, but not all products protect us. Did you know that using Dettol soap and water protects against viruses? Many viruses are surrounded by an envelope with receptors that enable them to enter a human cell and cause infection. Dettol soap destroys the outer layer of the virus and effectively removes it. Protect your family from the spread of viruses with Dettol. Dettol cleans and is now tested and proven to be effective against COVID-19 virus. This has been Medifax for Dettol.
How much?
Hii ni so.
Hii ni 20 bob na hii ni so na zote ni the same size.
While other networks discriminate, sisi hatubagui, tuna serve everybody. Get to Bonga 10 and enjoy 100 minutes Airtel to Airtel. Dial *544#. Not just for a few, but for every one of you. Airtel, the honest network.
Let us get down to business. Welcome. I am Julian Amboko. The Senate Sessional Committee on Delegated Legislation and the Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries have advised the Senate to reject the tea regulations being pushed by the Ministry of Agriculture. In their joint report, the committees argue that the Cabinet Secretary should consult all county governments before publishing the same regulations under the Crops Act. The committees have also argued that the regulations as presently drafted have the net effect of excluding any person cultivating tea in a single parcel of land from being categorized as a plantation grower. The committees further contend that the regulations are too prescriptive and intrude into the affairs of private companies, which will stifle private enterprise and thus amounts to overregulation of the sector.
We've been having a lot of pull and push with the ministry because we have functions that are devolved and the ministry wants to implement them at Nairobi or the national level, instead of implementing them by involving counties and the farmers who are found in the counties.
The November 6, 2020 determination by a 3-judge bench of the Court of Appeal on the matter putting the Kenya Revenue Authority against Absa Bank on whether withholding tax is payable by a bank for payments it has made to credit card companies and to other banks it issuer credits has evoked divided opinion on its consequences. Judith Cherono now takes a deep dive into the determination and its implications.
The ruling by the Court of Appeal issued 5 days ago overturned the May 2015 High Court ruling which established that the tax demands by Kenya Revenue Authority did not meet the level of clarity required in tax matters. KRA had invoked Section 35 of the Income Tax Act and demanded from Absa payment of withholding tax on payments which it had made to the 3 card companies, as well as on payments made by the respondent to other banks by way of interchange fee. Tax pundits argued that the impact on the end consumers may not be felt in the near term, but could begin to manifest in the medium to long term.
In the long term, we are likely to see banks trying to react to that. And one way they react to that is we are likely to see maybe an increase in bank charges. Either a debit cost will go up or a credit cost will go up.
The ruling by Justices Karanja, Minoti and Sichale goes far beyond withholding tax and interchange fees. Lenders should also expect to feel a pinch as far as value-added tax is concerned.
The bank that is receiving payment for facilitating that payment, which is the issuer bank, is going to be required to raise or charge VAT on all billings or on all payments that they are going to be receiving from the acquirer bank. Then the bank that is getting cards for its consumers to use is also going to be required to account for foreign or what we call reversed VAT.
The ruling by the Court of Appeal bench is expected to work retrospectively, implying Absa will be required to meet all KRA demands for the period in which the interpretation of the law was contested. Judith Cherono, NTV.
Now, the National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani says the consolidation of the Uwezo Fund, Youth Enterprise Development Fund and the Women Enterprise Fund is about to be completed. The government is seeking to rationalize state parastatals with a view to efficiently manage them to curb the wastage of resources. One of the key examples of this consolidation scheme is the Kenya Transport Logistics Network, KTLN, which was set up earlier in the year to oversee the Kenya Ports Authority, the Kenya Railways Corporation and the Kenya Pipeline Company. Yatani spoke during a ceremony to receive a 168 million shilling check from the Kenya Reinsurance Corporation, being the dividend for 2019. The corporate insurer, which is majority owned by the government of Kenya, made a pre-tax profit of 4.2 billion shillings last year.
Gone are the days when now we'll be allowing state agencies, state enterprises, to be coming here for a begging bowl or bailout. If we see institutions like Kenya Women Enterprise, the Kenya Youth Enterprise, the Uwezo Fund, we also now towards the tail end of merging them because they indeed do the same thing. These reforms are at a very advanced stage, and we are going to hold the management of this, the governance aspect of these institutions, personally accountable for any wastage, for any abuse of, of their responsibility.
An estimated 228 million shillings has been disbursed to vulnerable households in informal settlements over the last 3 months through the Give Directly program. The program, which allows donor partners to send money directly to target beneficiaries, has reached an estimated 19,000 individuals over the last quarter, 36% of the targeted population. The initiative, funded by UK Aid, seeks to prop Kenya's COVID-19 mitigative measures targeting the marginalized communities. Give Direct is implementing a 717 million shillings project in Kenya in light of the ongoing economic downturn.
The support we're announcing today is really a temporary measure to fill that gap, to support those people that are most affected by the pandemic, who have lost livelihoods, who have lost their jobs, who are living in informal settlements, urban areas. That is the support that we're providing. It is only a temporary solution.
The first thing a responsible government will do is to control the spread. That is the first thing. It's a trigger, it is a knee-jerk decision that you have to take. You have to break first.
And that takes us to the close of business. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.
Wataipenda, ataipenda. So will he and them. Pia yeye na hao pia. Kila mtu ataipenda. Pata kila kitu upendacho kwa M-Pesa kupitia *334#. Kwa kuweka kila kitu kwa namba moja, tumerahisisha mambo ili uweze kuendelea kufanya vitu unavyopenda ukitumia M-Pesa.
Are you thinking of bringing light into your house? Think of Sumo Candle. Why Sumo Candle? It is non-drip, doesn't smell and has no smoke. It's giving you money value by burning for a long time, and it is also brighter. Any day, anytime, Sumo Candle is the best for you. Purchase Sumo Candle from the nearest shop at a pocket-friendly price. Always smile and walk with Sumo Candle from Rock Industries Limited. For inquiries, visit our offices at Ndume Road off Lungalunga Road, behind Carton Manufacturers near Sinai Stage. You can also talk to us through 0722 575 619 or 0736 028 181.
Melissa? Mom, it's Dad's birthday today. I'm giving him a party just like he gives me.
Nothing makes a mother more proud than seeing her child growing up. But I know that as she learns to care for others, she'll face even more germs and the risk of illnesses.
That's why you need strong Dettol protection. Just 1 cup of Dettol protects your home and family from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Growing up needs Dettol protection.
So vile nasema, wacha nikubatie statistics. Niko na gamia 1,500. Tunakuwa drapo gamia na kuwa 6,000. 2,000 natengeneza leather, natengeneza viatu, wallet, kibeti, nauza hapa, na batia wewe 50%. Wacha niweke credit nikupigie.
Namna gani wewe? Hii mambo ya kuishiwa na credit kila saa? Come on. Nunua hiyo simu ya Vodafone. Calling fiber to fiber is 0 shillings per minute. And it is not expensive. Only 2,999 Kenya shillings.
Hali wa. Hata fadhali hiyo credit ikae ninunue simu basi.
Faibika leo na Vodafone for only 2,999 Kenya shillings. It will always be free to call fiber to fiber.
With the Stay Soft refill, saving money is as easy as snip, pour, mix with water, and shake.
Do you own land or property in Nairobi? Hurry and clear your outstanding land rates. We have extended the 100% waiver on land rates up to 15th November 2020. So, collect your invoice from our cash office at Times Tower Banking Hall or City Hall and Makadara offices and pay today only through the Nairobi County Revenue Collection accounts at Cooperative Bank of Kenya. You stand to gain 100% from the 100% waiver extension. At the end of the waiver period, KRA will institute enforcement measures. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Now, the over 100-year-old contentious Mugumo tree or fig tree, which stands tall and grand along Waiyaki Way, is safe. The government has saved the traditional tree, which already had markings along its waist indicating where it would be slashed in preparation for the Nairobi Expressway. Gina Kirori tells us more.
The Nairobi Metropolitan Services Director General, Mohamed Badi, arrived along Waiyaki Way to the site where the infamous Mugumo tree stands with one mission.
This tree will be preserved. That whatever development that is going to happen here will not touch this tree.
The embattled tree was at risk of being cut down to pave way for the Nairobi Expressway, but conservationists fought for the tree to stay. And today, the boots of employees under the NMS dug these posts in the ground to fence off the tree and keep it safe from harm. The markings, still seen on the over 100-year-old tree, indicate the close shave it came to having its existence ended. The tree has been a landmark for many within the Westlands area, including the taxi park that sits next to it and the bus stage that is just a stone throw away.
Kwa hapa zaidi ya 22 years, mababu zetu walikuwa naitumia na kufanya dhabihu na nini.
The tree is thought to have spiritual value, as it was often the place where faithful would come and connect to God in the olden days. NMS now says they have issued documentation that will keep the tree protected.
That the tree cover that has been removed to make way for construction of the expressway will be restored to fit in with the new road design.
This 100-year-old Mugumo tree has proven to come out swinging in the fight to conserve Kenya's green spaces. The iconic tree, which was at risk of being cut down, is now the first of many trees to receive a declaration of conservation from the state. Gena Kerari, NTV, Nairobi.
Long live the tree. At this point, we take another break. Lots more to come when we return, including the sports news. But remember, today is Singles Day, and it is the world's largest online shopping bonanza dedicated to all the single men and women in China. All right, I don't know if we've got that footage, although we do. These are images of an event held by Chinese tech giant Alibaba for Singles Day, when retailers slashed prices. And then in Thailand, look at that. It celebrated its first ever Singles Day, and a Thai cosmetic surgery clinic saw patients snap up nose jobs and eyelid operations to mark the day. Well, I wonder what Singles Day would look like here in Kenya. I doubt people would go to that extreme. Sports news is next.